Older Gods is an independent indie movie, and it came out last year. And I had seen the poster around for a while. Like for a couple of months, I kept seeing this poster on like social media, and I thought, oh, okay. So I finally watched it, and it was not what I was expecting at all. So it starts off with a character, the main character that's called, his name is Chris Rivers, and he's basically gone to Wales. That's where this is filmed, it's in Wales. And to uncover the mystery of his friend Billy that had taken his own life, allegedly, and he wanted to figure out why. You know, so best thing about this movie, like from what I see, is the cinematography. It's really good. It has some really awesome shots, like outdoors. And if I believe the production of this movie, they filmed in one of the hottest weeks of the year, and the only water that they had any, you know, any access to was brown water. Tasty. So they would drive around for hours and hours just to get to a shop so they can buy a couple of bottles of water, which I believe were quite expensive. But yeah, I mean, putting that into perspective of this movie, it makes it even more rewarding. Like you're watching it, and especially when you see the sun hitting, you're like, yeah, damn. Now especially when you know what they've been going through, like, still got that money shot. Fuck yeah. So yeah, the cinematography is brilliant. One of my favorite scenes is when he sees one of the I might be wrong in calling it the shimmer. If I am, sorry, but the guy in the hallway is just like standing there and then just gone. It's just creepy. So the more Chris inspects and tries to figure out what the fuck happened to his friend, he makes a couple of phone calls, tries to piece everything together, like to figure out, why. And, that's whenever you start to figure out, and he finds like videos of Billy talking. And it seemed like I think it was directly at Chris. He said that, listen, if you can prove that I was working on something more bigger before I died, then I will release you of the guilt. And the guilt is what Chris felt. Because as later on in the movie, Chris openly admits that because Billy was so fixated and talking about the cult. Yes, there's a cult in this movie. And, they were fucking his head up. And, he was calling, and he would try to, basically reaching out for help, to cry for help. And, as Chris openly admitted, he would just ignore the calls because he's like, oh, my God, he's just going to blab on again. Ugh. And that's the guilt he carries. Because he did that and he realized he could have helped. So, that's whenever really freaky shit starts to happen. Like you hear voices and these weird people. Like another great shot is a creepy guy or whatever it is. He looks like he reminds me of the Grim Reaper. The whole hood, black face, you can't see anything, the robe. That's the impression I got. And he'd be standing outside the field, the fence is here, and he's just right behind it, and the house is in front of him, and Chris is in the house, and you can see this. And then suddenly the guy just runs away. And, Chris is like running at all the windows. And that's so creepy because, like, you imagine your house, right? You look out your window, like right now, right? You see a guy standing outside your house, staring at your house. And then he runs around, like, say, to where your alley is. How creepy is that? Because you're thinking, oh fuck, did I leave any windows open? Did I leave the back door open? Or, you freak the fuck out. So he runs around, starts closing windows, and he's looking out windows trying to see if he can see him. And it's just such a really well crafted scene. I think I really, really enjoyed that. And again, it's creepy. It's generally creepy. So you then later on figure out that the cult basically, it's like you're being cursed. It's like they give you a curse, kind of, and the only way to get out of it is basically, yeah. So if they get the kill you, right, you're gonna see the light. In other words, join them, whatever. But if you resist, they will kill your family. So you have the only way to to do it is they want you to kill somebody, so then you'll join them, see the light, and you later realize that Billy was plagued with that. So in the end, we realized that yes, he killed himself, but he didn't do it for, because life was too hard. He did it because, he wanted to save his family and to break out of this curse. Both of them. Option C, as they called it. So yeah, he did it. And later on, as Chris starts to be chased by these things, and I think the leader, which has a really kick-ass design, it's like skinless. It's like they only have like eyes around here, and the rest is all just skinless, which I thought was really badass, fucking design. Like they really did do a great job with the prosthetics and all of the makeup, and they genuinely did a really, really good job with that. So I really have to, fair dues for that. That was really, really damn well done. So you have him, they're all chasing him, breaking into the house, all of the followers are, and they're all like banging on the door and like screaming, open the door and to see the light. And, they keep repeating that. And I mean, it's a lot better than Evil Dies Tonight, right? Am I right? So, yeah. Also, this movie was directed by David A. Roberts, who, yeah, is a pretty good ass director. And you can tell by the cinematography, he's damn good at his job. And the production, this is produced by Wagyu Films, I believe. Wagyu Films. I think I pronounced that right. And yeah, like I said, this was all filmed in Wales, which is pretty cool. So those are the good parts, which, as I said, there are great parts, and I named a lot, but there are some parts that did bug me a little, but most of it's just nitpicking. It's just, and I'm here to be honest. The whole idea that his wife was pregnant, heavily pregnant and expecting, and any time that she called him, he would ignore the call. It's like, oh, it bugged me. It really annoyed me. Like, even my partner as well. It was bugging both of us. We're like, answer the fucking phone, dude. She might be in labor. Like, why the fuck wouldn't you answer the damn phone? I know it was all part of the story. It showed how desperate he was for answers, and, he was, adamant. So I didn't like that. Like I said, it's a nitpick. I know it's intended for the movie. I get all that. The second thing, in the beginning, I think it was a slow start. There was points where I was like, is anything gonna happen yet? You know, so it was a slow burn, but whenever it does kick, it kicks. You know, when it all kicks off, it's just fully, everything is just thrown at you. You know, so you know, if you're gonna watch this movie, have a little patience. You know, the movie really does get great, so you just have to be a little patient and just wait. You know, so there's that. That wasn't a big, like I said, I'm nitpicking here. You know, it wasn't a big deal breaker or anything. You know, I enjoyed it. The movie was very well acted. I thought it was really well acted. There was one or two lines that were thrown in. I was like, yeah. But yeah, overall though, it was still a really overall a great movie. And there was one scene that actually got me not teary, but feeling like I'm gonna tear up, but I didn't tear up. If you know what I mean. Which is the scene where he reunites with Billy, like in the next life. And after he kills himself, like he stabs himself in the neck with a stick or branch or fucking something. And he's talking to Billy and, you know, talking about how he's free now and he feels happy. Just the whole scene, it was so well acted. And you know a scene is really well acted when you start to feel it, you know. So that was great. There was also a scene where a guy was getting his face skinned. I assume it was the same guy that we saw later, the skinless face, where like he was being skinned alive like a space, and he was enjoying it. So that was really gnarly. Like I said, the effects are really good in this movie. They really, really are. And yeah, so the movie gets to an end. He stabs himself, but he's resuscitated, so he's saved, and he's in the hospital bed. And the cop comes in. Like, same cop I thought earlier was gonna be one of the villains, because he was so like, I don't give a fuck about anything. Called me out here because you say people outside your door and not fucking seeing them. You're losing it. I'm not even gonna investigate. Bye. And left. But he came back at the end. I was like, okay, you are genuine. You're just fucking bad at your job. Yeah, so he hands the phone to Chris, and that's his wife, Karen. And I think that's her name. I'm pretty sure it is Karen. So all seems happy and nice, loving and happy ending, until he looks over and he sees a dead bird lying in the ground in the hospital, which signifies that you're not out yet. Which actually reminds me of a scene which is really cool near the beginning, where like all these birds and crows are just dropping dead from the sky. And they're like basically raining dead birds all around them. That was a really fucking cool scene. I loved how they did that. I was looking at watching it like, what the fuck is that? Even I was dodging it and like, oh shit, oh. I was only watching the movie. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this movie. And I would watch it again. I genuinely would. So, yeah, good job, guys. You know, more movies like this. Yeah. And yeah, so if I were to score it out of 10, I would give it 8 out of 10. That's how much I enjoyed it. I've watched a lot of bad movies, but I've watched a lot of good movies even before this, some of my favorite, and after I watched this, I still enjoyed it, so that's always a good sign. So yeah, totally recommend it. It's on Amazon Prime. So yeah, give it a watch. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like, subscribe buttons. I would wholeheartedly appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And as always, don't kill anyone.